Welcome you all, the students, and on the behalf of the School of Media and Communication Studies, myself, Dr. Harish Kumar, welcoming you all in the process of learning. And today, in the subject Introduction to Mass Communication, we are going to discuss about the model of Heroldi Loswell. Apart from it, we are also going to discuss about Osgood and Schramm's model of communication. So I think that these models will provide you a kind of insight of the communication world. So students, before we move further, we should know about the objective behind this course and especially this particular lecture. The course is designed and introduced to provide a glimpse of different models of communication related with the Heraldry Laswell and Osgood. These models are very helpful for us to understand about some basic aspects related with the process of communication. As you all are aware that one program model provide a base for the development of another model. So in the process of development of a different communication model, these models were very helpful for us. So dear students, firstly I am just going to provide you information about Heraldry Loswell's model of communication. And this program model was developed by communication theorist Heraldry Loswell in the year 1948. Heraldry Loss's model of communication, also known as action model or linear model or one-way model of communication, and it is being regarded as one of the most influential and simple model of communication. So dear students, as you are watching right now, so according to this program model of Heraldry Lossell, this is one of the simplest model that we have. So according to this model, as you are watching right now, who? Who stands for the person who is going to send the masses. So it is going to denote something about the sender because sender wants to say something, and that's why sender is going to denote, or you can say that sender is going to encode a particular kind of message. According to this model, sender is encoding the message and sees what? It means the kind of content which is going to be disseminated by the sender. So in the process of dissemination, you will find that apart from content, content is also one of the important element of communication because through our own content, we will be able to decide about the kind of effect that we want. If the content is prompt, if the content is credible, if the content is concrete, if the content is structured properly, then definitely the outcome will be more, or there will be more chances of getting the message in a proper manner. Apart from it, you'll find that accordingly we are going to select the kind of channel or medium. The selection of channel or medium is very important for us, because if we are going to select wrong channel, or we are not able to know which channel is good for our own masses, then definitely will not be able to get some desired result. So channel selection is also one of the important element according to this program model. Thereafter, we are going to decide about the person to whom we are going to send the message, because receivers are also very important for us. So whenever we have decided that we are going to communicate something, at the same time we are going to decide about the receiver, and accordingly we are going to provide the message. And the last one is related with what effect. But it's no, that there is not any direct message related with feedback, because it is more concentrating on the kind of effect, and it is very difficult for us to evaluate the effect of the message, because there are different factors which are going to influence you in the process of getting some meaning. So if there is not any direct feedback, it means it is going to create a kind of problem. So that is why we can say that this program model is very simple, because it is just going to answer the question of various kinds of things like who says what, in which channel, to whom, with what effect. But this program model is not going to tell you something about any direct response or direct feedback. So, dear students, let us recall a few things more related with Heraldi-Loswell model of communication. And if we are going to correlate this particular model with the modern research, we find that this particular model is providing a base for the further studies. Who the communicator or sender or source of the masses, it's related with the control analysis. Actually, we have to decide who is going to control the content. You'll find that nowadays there are different kinds of media houses which are going to control the content. Sometimes it happens that the reporters are just trying to provide you the kind of masses, but it is not being, entertained properly. There are several factors which are affecting the flow of the information, and you'll find that there are different gatekeepers in different media houses. Another thing is related with says what? The content of the masses. And this one is related with content analysis. After content analysis, we are able to know about the flavor. We are also able to know about basic structure of the content. Whether content was created in right direction, it was manipulated one, the content was biased one, or it was properly researched, or the content was very influential in nature. So all the things we are able to know after the proper content analysis. How much time was devoted for what particular kind of thing? If there is a particular textual kind of content is there, how much space was covered through particular kind of aspect. Another thing is related with in which channel, the medium or media, we are able to know something about all these things after media analysis, because media is playing a major role. Sometimes we say that medium is the masses. It means your communication effectiveness depends upon the way you are going to select a particular kind of media or a medium. If there is a wrong selection, then definitely you are going to face a particular kind of challenge. If a particular media is not being properly penetrated in a particular kind of area, and you are going to select a particular media for this particular purpose, so definitely you are going to destroy your own purpose in this regard. The next one is to whom, the receiver of the masses or an audience. We are able to know something about all these things after audience analysis. Nowadays, after different kinds of programs, we are just trying to do something about audience analysis, because we want to know the interest. We also want to know about their liking and disliking. What audience want? Being a media person, it's our own responsibility not only to provide the content which is being appreciated by the audience, but at the same time, we should also just try to make a kind of influence. And in this regard, the next element is very important for us, and this one is going to discuss about with what effect, the receiver to the sender effect analysis. It means whenever you have designed a particular message, whether it was able to get some desired result or not. It means if was a proper effect, if there is not any proper effect, then definitely we have to evolve the new mechanism for it. So let us discuss a few things related with criticism of Heraldi-Loswell's model of communication. So there are a few criticism around this particular model, and some of them are like it does not include feedback, and it ignores the possibility of noise. In communication world, we find that noise or barriers are very important, because there are different factors, and these factors are going to affect the flow of communication. There are different factors, psychological, social factors, cultural factors are there, and knowledge is one of the important factor that we have. There are demographical factors also which are going to influence the communication intensity. Apart from it, it's a kind of linear model, and it does not consider, as I told you earlier, different barriers of communication. And in the process of communication, basically these barriers are important, because if we are able to identify these barriers, then in our own communication we can just avoid these kinds of things. So basically, this particular model is more focused on the resulting outcome and generally used for media persuasion. So basically, whenever we want to use media as a tool of persuasion, So this program model is very helpful for us because this program model is going to discuss something about with what effect whether media is able to get some desired result or not, or if, is there any effect of the media or not. So for this purpose, this program model just provides us a kind of insight. So dear students, I'm going to discuss a few things related with Osgood and Schramm's model of communication. This model is one of the unique model that we have because this particular model is going to put emphasis on the concept of sender and receiver who are at the same stage in this particular model. As you're watching this particular slide, you find that there is a particular sender. So sender is going to interpret the masses, and in this regards, when the sender wants to send a message, the sender is going to encode the masses. So in the process of encoding a particular message, the sender is going to decide about the kind of sign and symbol. These sign and symbols are very important because it is going to formulate a particular kind of message. So after the process of message creation, this particular message is being given to, or it has been sent to the receiver. So on the basis of his or her own psyche, or on the basis of his or her own experience, or on the basis of cultural and social aspect, the receiver is going to decode the message. And after the process of decoding, the receiver is able to understand the meaning of the message. So after it, the interpreter used to decide, and interpreter wants to ask something, or if there is any query or the kind of thing, that particular message is being encoded by the receiver, and receiver is going to transmit it, and after encoding the things, it is being formulated in the form of a message, and this message is again going to the particular person, the person who was earlier a sender. Now that particular person is becoming a receiver, and thereafter that particular person is going to decode the message from this particular message, and again the process of interpreter starts, and after getting some meaning, that particular person is again going to encode the kind of thing. So it keeps on changing. You find that communication is actually a dynamic process. So according to this particular process, basically you'll find that sender and receiver both are working and they are just playing the role of sender as well as receiver. And according to this particular model, communication is dynamic. It keeps on changing, and this particular model is one of the best model that we have, which is going to discuss about senders and receivers role. Hmm? So as far as Osgood and Schramm's model of communication is concerned, the earlier image showed how the Osgood and Schramm model works, and basically this model was telling us how it is going to involve a circular kind of communication between two people. Each person is both a sender and a receiver, so they are therefore able to communicate to one another rather than only in one direction, but it is in circular direction. And that's why basically right now what is happening in the communication world also, we also used to play different kinds of role. At one particular time we are becoming a sender, and on the other hand we are also working like a receiver. Right now being a teacher, I'm just working like a sender, but at the same time if I'm getting your response or queries, so I'm also working like a receiver. Let us define a few things of Osgood and Schramm's model of communication. Let us start with the process of encoding. When we want to send a message, we need to think about how to craft it to get our message across clearly. We need to think of the right words to say and in what order we should send our message to communicate our ideas to the masses or to the receiver, whether the kind of language we are going to follow, what kind of nonverbal communications there. So all the things are included in the process of creating particular masses, and this one is called as the process of encoding. Another element that we discussed in this particular model was the process of decoding. In the process of decoding, when we receive a message, we need to decode it in order to get the meaning of the message. A message may be packaged as a text, image, advertisement, speech, etc. When receiving a message, we need to use our reading skill, listening skills, etc. to decode the message so it makes sense to us. Sometimes someone may mishear or misread a message. Perhaps if we were, mummed, or we are not able to read something, or we are unable to listen to things properly, then it is going to create a kind of problem and we will not be able to interpret the message properly. Another element is the element of interpreting the things. Now that we understand the medium of communication, we can go about interpreting the message. What does it mean to you? One person may interpret the message in a totally different way to someone else, or they may not understand it the same way as the encoder wanted to create a kind of meaning. So there might be a possibility that the things might be misinterpreted because of gap in knowledge level, because of the gap as far as experience is concerned, because of the cultural barrier or the kind of thing. So the process of interpretation or interpreting process is also one of the important factor in this particular model. So as far as the criticism of this particular model of Osgood and Schramm is concerned, so basically there are two criticism that we have. First criticism is it doesn't recognize that communication can be unequal because it is going to put sender and receiver on the same stage. You'll find that what is happening in our real world, because of the authority, one particular person is going to suppress you. So this one is going to create a kind of problem, because if you are just in front of your boss, if you are in front of the family boss, then definitely you are not at one particular equal stage. Apart from it, it doesn't work for mass communication, because in mass communication we find that technology is basically playing a major role. And in mass communication, we are not encoding the masses or decoding the masses in the same manner. But because there are different factors and noise component is also there, which are going to restrict the flow of communication. Dear students, today we discuss about the communication model of Osgood and Schramm, and we also discuss about the model of Harold de Loswell. And these early models are very helpful for us whenever we want to understand the process of communication. At one hand, Loswell's model is focusing more on the communication effect. On the other hand, Osgood and Schramm's model is focusing on playing same kind of role. So basically, you'll find that as far as communication is concerned, if we are able to understand the things properly, then definitely we'll be able to make our goal or objective in a proper manner, and we will be just avoiding any communication gap. Dear students, today the question is, you have to compare the model of Osgood and Schramm's with the model of Heraldi Laswell. So dear students, if you want more information, you want to read books related with this topic, you can visit the websites mentioned here, or you can purchase the book. So dear students, thank you very much for being with us. And today you spent the time, and I think that still, if you are having any confusion or any doubt, you're most welcome. You can just call me on my mobile number. Apart from it, you can also send me mail on my email ID. My email ID is harish.kumar@galgotiasinstitute.edu.in. We'll meet again. Till then, bye bye, take care, and happy learning.